Can they survive the end of the world?
Cockroaches can. I would think zombies can.
But we're talking about the end of the, like, okay.
Here's the thing. Zombies are going to kill us all. It's possible to become a zombie. When you think about it. There's got to be some kind of chemical makeup that can turn you into a semi-comatose, anger-ridden state.
So is it a virus?
Here's the thing. I think it might start off as a virus that ends up killing you that brings you back. So I think you may start off infected. You know, like some of these movies, you get bit by a zombie and you slowly turn into a zombie. Your face starts turning pale white real slow.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like the symptoms. You know, your lips turn purple. You're going to be a zombie.
Or hypothermia. What if it's just somebody suffering from hypothermia?
Especially around the summer. It'd be tough to tell.
I know. So
but I'm saying, though, I don't think it would be that way. Because I got to imagine, since it's such a contagious disease and it kills you, that once it goes into you, I would think it would really have an effect on your system. I don't think it would be such a slow progression into zombieism. I think that you would quickly be infected. And I think that's something that we have to look at because we have to understand what kind of chemical makeup this is and what it does to our bodies. Because we have to be able to identify a pending zombie. Because, you know, if you got bit and I'm with you, I need to know if you're going to be okay.
Well, I'm probably not going to be okay.
You'll lie, though. You won't tell me you were bit. I need to figure this out for myself.
You'll see the marks.
Like, I was watching Return of the Living Dead, and when they got bit, it was the really slow, I can still talk, my face is turning white.
Why am I dead?
Why am I 70 degrees? Yes. Internally, I have no vitals. But in that movie, see, this is what scares me. You couldn't kill the zombies. There was no... Sometimes you could just attack the brain, dead. Sometimes you could just cut off their head, they're gone. In this movie, you had to burn them. But here's the kicker. This disease was not by getting bit by a zombie.
This was airborne.
Airborne.
Yeah.
So once you start burning them, you're spreading the virus. Basically, there's no possible way to get away from this. So basically, if that is the real zombie, then we're all screwed. There's no point. We need to figure out a few things. One, how to identify a zombie.
Zombie identification, I think, it would be quite easy.
Okay, well let's get through the rest of the things we need to identify.
What if they have some crazy zombie language and somebody has to translate? I mean, nobody's going to know this zombie language. Yeah. I mean, it might just be like, ugh.
Well, I think then this is something important, because we need to make a list of the type of people we want with us in our army brigade against the zombies, and I think one person would be someone that knows sign language. Because then if we could find a zombie that was originally deaf, that knew sign language, then maybe they could communicate that way.
You're absolutely right. Maybe a blind zombie who can also read Braille, and that can translate the Bible eventually.
That would be useful. Exactly. You never know. I'm just saying, we need to come up... See, we should start befriending these kind of people. We should get close to people that have...
Before they're zombies or after they're zombies?
Before. Because we need them around us when this all starts. And we can get them bit intentionally.
Well, I don't want the blind or the deaf guy on watch, that's for sure.
No, they're not watching guard for us, don't worry. That's not their job. We're going to get them intentionally bit, you see. So we can have them on our side.
Okay, so these are going to be our...
Don't tell them. Just saying. That way if we come across a deaf zombie, they can sign together.
How many deaf zombies do you think they're going to be?
There's a lot of deaf people.
I don't know very many
deaf zombies. There's a whole community you don't know about.
I'm sure there is, but
every
time those zombies are going to... I mean, okay, these zombies are going to be in their house. They're going to hear on the outside of their house. They're not going to hear it.
That's why we're going to get them before they're zombies. Especially the blind one, this can be really easy, because then we can just lead them to the zombies, you know? I know it's not politically correct.
It's not very nice.
At a time where zombies are taking over the world, I think we can throw a knife right out the window. I think that's going to have to go. Alright, so let's start with the first thing that we need to do. Identifying a zombie.
Identifying a zombie, guys.
Let's think of the top 5 ways. We gotta get the top 5 ways to identify a zombie.
ID the zombie.
1, zombie clothing.
Zombie clothing is important.
Because there's never a well-dressed zombie. Ever.
No zombies in Versace.
And there's a good chance that the zombies could have outdated clothing, like from the 50s or 60s, stuff they were buried in.
Yes, it's been partially rotten. Maybe the moths have chewed a few holes. Maybe the maggots have pooped on it a little too much.
Or maybe even modern clothes that have been all ripped to shreds.
From other zombies.
Because it's tough being a zombie.
You know, if you get caught on a nail, you don't have enough sense to like stop. You just keep going and it rips your clothes.
But however, we have to be careful because some people, much like myself, wear clothing that looks like it's belonged to a zombie before.
Okay, rule number 1, change your clothes in a zombie apocalypse. But keep those clothes, you may need them.
Wear nice clothing.
So, wear...
Because no zombies ever dress nice, so wear your Sunday's best, kids,
clothes.
and you should be safe.
But see, you should wear something that's comfortable because you're going to be running a lot. You don't want to be running in a suit.
Well, I'm not going to wear my high heels.
But you're going to wear your Sunday best.
My Sunday best may differ from yours.
My Sunday best is like a pair of underwear and a t-shirt. At least into one.
I'm not sure zombies wear underwear. That's another thing, because I don't think you get buried with underwear on, do you?
I've never been buried.
Well, we gotta ask somebody about that.
I have to research the burial underwear thing.
Right. Alright, so come up with number 2 then. Let's switch off here. So 1, wear nice clothes, because a zombie will be poorly dressed.
What if it's somebody who's just recently zombied, who's wearing like, Gucci?
But you gotta remember though, they're gonna have blood stains. Like they've been bit.
What if they're bitten behind, but they're walking forward?
Make sure you do a full 360.
Okay, so the identification of a zombie includes
a full 360.
360 ID of zombies.
Is that still number 1 or are we on number 2?
We're on like 2.5 now, because
Okay.
we're still talking about clothes.
Okay, but it's still number 1 then. Alright, so number 2.
Interesting.
Number 2, because we're done with the dressing. 2 is the facial appearance. That's key.
Well, see, okay. Well,
There are very few non-zombies that are pale white.
What about Rose McGowan?
She can go.
Okay.
That's unnecessary. I'm just saying, any kind of zombie movie, there's an odd shade color to them, whether it be white or purple or pink or blue.
Or
They're
just
not your
rotten guts.
or rotten guts. I mean, if you see anybody that may look like they're alive, there's a good chance they are. Because zombies in these movies, they're not like borderline. Like if you see one, you know they're dead.
But then why would we need the zombie identification clothing?
There is a chance someone could be really ugly and really disformed. And you may look at them and you may say, oh my goodness. Then you look at their clothes and say, oh no, it's okay, they're wearing good clothes.
Don't accidentally shoot me in the head.
I can't promise that. So we gotta make sure that their face is in order. That's number 2.
Their faces. Do you have to like do the eye, like check them out, give them a stare, see if he stares back, or?
Look, there's multiple steps to identifying a zombie. This is not the only thing, so don't worry about it. It's not that.
Okay,
like,
so this is just ways of identifying the zombies.
right. This is top 5.
I thought we were doing top 10.
No, we would be here forever. These people would probably turn the video off already. All right. 3rd, the walk. The walk is important because those.
Or the run.
I'm gonna go with no running. I'm gonna say zombie can't run.
Really?
They have no circulatory system. They have no pulse. Thus, they can't run. It's
Well,
not possible.
But wait a second. That's not possible. Okay, I got you. That sounds ridiculous, though.
Well, so does zombies taking over the world. But that's what we're talking about.
The running part does sound ridiculous. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't know how they can run.
Yeah, that's no.
And they run faster than I do, and I'm perfectly alive and almost healthy.
But in the event that these zombies, like if they're infected, not necessarily zombies, but like the movie 28 Days Later. No spoiler alerts. These zombies were infected by some chimp blood.
We're gonna have to have altering strategies. We'll have to do another sit down and talk about infection, and not the kind that we have, but the zombie infection.
Gotcha.
All right. So the walk is important. They're gonna go slow, like that article we read during the week about the zombie. It would be more painful being dead than having 2 bad hamstrings.
Yes.
And I know from having a sore hamstring, it is very tough to walk.
Yes, after a workout and you sit for an hour and you try to get back up, you're a little stiff.
And I imagine laying down on the ground for 100 years and getting up, you're not going to walk right.
Yeah, you're going to need some Tylenol or Vicodin at least.
Right. The painkillers, which I already said we should supply.
Well, Yes.
But then they would walk better and faster.
Oh, see, that might be a bad idea.
It's a good thing we're thinking this out. Okay. So, but the walk is important. If someone's walking like a normal human being, if someone has sort of a limp, this is when you have to go back to one of the other two. So, if you're wearing really poor clothing, you're an albino, and you're limping, so far you're in trouble.
Okay,
All right. So far,
let's not hope you're dead.
so far you're in trouble. All right. So you're dressed, your appearance, your walk. Number 4 is the big one. Your speech.
Speech.
Because zombies don't speak English very well in most movies.
Well, yes, in most zombie movies, but we're going by these zombie movies here. You know,
But I think though that there's a politeness factor involved too. I've never heard a polite zombie, like a please and thank you zombie.
well, I think that we did see that polite zombie in Night of the Living Dead, or Return of the Living Dead, the movie you were just talking
But
about.
there was no please or thank yous.
But she was well enough to answer questions.
Much like that, also that other zombie in that movie, in the beginning where the lady goes, who's there? And then he goes, brains.
Yes.
He answered her question, and she ran away screaming, crying.
Yes.
That would be very ignorant. I'd be so
But see,
upset if I
this
was that
zombie was
zombie.
being polite. He was saying, maybe that was his name.
Do you think that's why zombies eat us? Is because we're so mean to them? We're always running away screaming and crying and shooting them? And
Well, I don't know, because I think a lot of zombies that I've seen in the movies, and you know, people are standing there like, what is this? What is that guy doing? And all of a sudden they're bitten, and their brains are like, you know, so that there's no way to tell. They're not necessarily being rude to them. They're just in a situation where the zombie comes up on them and gets them.
okay, but going back to speech, if they're moaning and groaning, I'm shooting them,
What
right?
if they're yawning?
Well, okay, so if you're a poorly dressed albino that's got a limp and yawning, you're still in trouble.
Which leads us to number 5. Or are we still talking about speech?
No, I mean, speech is pretty clear cut. I'm not sure there's much else to talk about with speech.
So there's no intellectual zombies. It's going to be a lot of grumbling, a lot of moaning.
Right. Number 5 kind of goes to number 1 a little bit, and that is blood. Because the thing is, I'm not buying the whole Return of the Living Dead airborne zombie disease. If it's airborne, we're screwed. Pack it in. We can't survive that. It's not possible.
Yeah.
But if it's by biting, if anybody has any blood on them, they've either killed a zombie, and the zombie blood could have got on them, if they do have blood, which they shouldn't.
They've been drained. Well, if they followed proper procedures on embalming.
Right. But even if it's a fresh zombie, so this fresh zombie, it means you got bit, you have blood on you somewhere.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be a lot more fresh zombies than dead zombies.
Right.
Like the ones who have been dead for quite some time.
Right.
I'm going to go with there's probably going to be like 1% of dead, like been dead for a while.
Right.
zombies.
So basically, even after our 5 here, if you are a poorly dressed albino that's been limping, that has a speech impediment, that just spilled his V8,
You're in really big trouble.
You're going to die. I will shoot you.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to back that up because I think it's more important to be safe than sorry in a situation like this. You can always find more friends.
I'll bring
hopefully.
protection.
Okay. So now, you know, we talk about protection.
Okay.
Kids, it's very important that you always carry a machete because, you know, you don't need to reload those, apparently.
Well, I think machete, since we're not talking about the infected, is probably your best bet. It's got a very thick handle on it and a very big blade.
I think you'd want to fashion some sort of knuckle guard as well.
Oh, sure.
So you can kind of do a punch and slash.
Yeah.
And you'll protect your knuckles at the very least. And you know, when you bang your knuckles, it's pretty painful. But I don't want to be doing that around zombies.
Well, you don't want to hurt yourself because who are you going to go to? I'm sure the hospital's closed.
Exactly.
Or there's going to be a long line waiting.
At least a very long line.
So always have a machete. That's big.
Or some kind of big knife that...
I think a sniper rifle for sure. You have to have at least one with lots of ammunition because wherever you're going to go in your safe haven, you're going to have to be able to pick these things off from afar.
Yes. But it could also be loud and attract the zombies towards you.
Silencer.
Where are you going to get a silencer?
At the store you buy the gun from.
They don't sell silencers. You have to make one or know somebody who's...
If anybody out there watching this video has a silencer that I can buy legally, please contact me.